yogi and all your raga dvesha, that the actor aham mama buddhi, that I am acting, that sort of a thing. Once you are settling accounts with all those things, only you can really take to, even if you want to be a sannyasi, you can take to it later. But first, you be a karma yogi. For that, you get yourself involved in all action, but be a karma yogi. Action goes on, but you are not the actor. That point he has made it very clear. Person who has already got to know all those things, how he will be. In the next few, so from 13, 14 onwards, he has been explaining how a person who has understood, who has been a karma yogi, how he will look at life, how he will look at all others and all that, he is explaining now. What is the Vishesha? What is the characteristics of a person? What he has told originally in the second chapter, Sthita Praඥat Ka Bhasha, he is explaining now. As a sannyasi, how is he? How he behaves, how he looks at the whole thing. That word is continuing. He will continue like that and then complete, saying that this is how he will be, and that is a lakshana of a jnani. And then he will go into the sixth chapter in the sense dhyanam. What is dhyanam? What is contemplative lifestyle, etc., etc. He will tell. That way he completes your analysis of you. What is your life? In the sense, the Tvam Padartha, in the sense you, because we are only seeking our freedom in life. It is not Brahman who is seeking freedom in life. Even though the understanding is finally is going to be I am Atma Brahma. Brahman is free only. It doesn't have, only you have to know that what is your freedom, what you are seeking in freedom. The freedom is being sought not only by you but others also. In all, any human being is seeking only freedom. Only that he doesn't say that. He says, if I live one day more means what? He wants freedom from death. That is his freedom. But he wants longevity. He is afraid of death, etc., etc. He puts it differently, that's all. The fact is he wants freedom. And then what? Happy. I want to be happy by doing this, by doing that and all that. But he says, no, I want happy all the time. I want to be happy all the time. That freedom to be happy, that again is the second level of freedom. And the third level of freedom is, I don't want to be ignorant. In the sense, everything I should know. If somebody, the family also, if somebody says, I've got a secret to tell you, and he says, I will tell after 2 days, till 2 days you don't sleep. Because you want to know the secret. You don't like to be kept away from any secret. Even it may be a simple joke on you. But the fact is that he said that there is a secret, it keeps you sleepless. So that means what? There is the freedom from not knowing. That I don't lack anything, I know everything. That sort of that also is the third level of freedom we want. So that mumukshutvam is there for every one of us as a human being. But we don't discern what it means. That discerning is happening by going through the Gita, the scriptures and all that. So there is no choice. So when there is no choice situation, better to adapt it as early as possible in life and then work around that. Okay, this is what it is all about. Now how go about whatever stage I am in life, what I do, how much of activity I involve in, how much of money I need, how much of comforts I need, all those things, keep working it out. But at the same time, keep your focus on the study as well as mukshutvam karma yoga and keep going. And life will show its way to you where to move on. That is what we are doing now. The way is shown by Bhagavan to Arjuna and for us also. Let us read this.
This mumukshutvam you said is about...
What is that?
This mumukshutvam you said.
Yeah.
What is it all about? You said, can you repeat it again? Mumukshutvam
Mumukshutvam is free. Moktum ichuhu. Moktum ichuhu means what? Moktum meaning freedom. The actual meaning of the word mukta is free person. That freedom, all of us, a human being wants to be free. It is a basic thing in his life, but he doesn't know that it is what he seeks is freedom. But he thinks that by doing this, by acquiring this, by getting rid of this, by putting myself in such a situation, I will be a free person. He keeps on doing that. But the freedom is being changeless, all the time being available, all the time being happy, all the time I'm not going to be at the sea. He wants to live one day more all the time. Like Swamiji always used to say, today cash, tomorrow credit. Some shops will put. So that tomorrow will never come because every day is today only. In the same way, all of us want to live one day more. Even if you ask a party, Swamiji used to jocularly say, even if she will say, Southerner, when is he going to come and take away? She will keep on mourning. But suddenly one fine morning, if Southerner comes and approaches, she will say, no, my daughter is coming from US, I will see her and then come. So, the longevity, what you call, the urge to live one day more comes from this freedom from death. I don't want to be not there. That is one of the reasons why we look for progeny. We want to look my son look like me or grandson look like me, so that even if I am not there, I continue in the name of my grandson. That is also one way of looking at longevity. So the freedom from death is the freedom is the real muktum michuhu. But we think that by improving our longevity, by doing a lot of ensuring that a lot of health care, yoga, so many things we take care so that the body remains in good shape and at the same time alive longer, longevity. Even the whole whole medical field, Swamiji always says between 70 and 80, people are so vulnerable to this cardiologist. Just by tweaking the medicine here and there, he will keep you alive, keep you going, and he will make a lot of money. It's all basically playing on your psychology of longevity. Longevity means you want to be there. But even if you do, 70 can become 80 or 80 can become 90. But anyway, you are not going to live for all the time. So, your freedom to live one day more or freedom to be there all the time, that lies elsewhere. Lies in jnanam, understanding that you are Atma. As Atma, you are free, you are always there. You are never not there. So, that is clear. The person who discerns through the understanding, through the Acharya, Upadesa and all that, he discerns that he is purely Atma. It is not his body, mind or senses, which is transitory anyway. You are looking for what is permanency in something transitory. All of us know very well, body, mind, senses keep changing. Moment to moment, year to year, month to month, week to week. Then how can you have Sashwata in that? But still we want to. Because we don't know where exactly Sashwata lies. The Sashwata lies in understanding that I am Atma, I am not the body, mind, senses. That is where the whole thing starts. So that is that mumukshutvam and that understanding that I am the Atma, the being, that all these are only instruments in my hands. Even though they look like one common entity put together under the skin called body, it is not the reality. That understanding, to one of that understanding, it takes a lot of time.
Okay.
So that is the reality. That is the reality which all of us have to, I would say that is a breakthrough. Once we are able to understand that, once we are able to own it up, then the whole journey starts in terms of, thereafter it is a question of discerning further. Okay, if I am Atma, what is it all about? How to go about? How to conduct myself with my body, mind and senses? How to keep my desires under control? All those things come. Thereafter, what is this happiness all about? Happiness does not belong to the body, mind, and once you know very well that you are the being, and the body, mind, senses are only jada, in the sense they are all instruments. Instruments are not going to ask for happiness. They don't want to be happy, even though you think that your mind is happy. Mind is an instrument. It's like a computer processor or a motherboard. It keeps on changing. Continuously keeps on, whatever you put in, depending on garbage in, garbage out. If you put in garbage, it will behave like that only. Mind is like that. All the time changing. So mind is not going to give you happiness. Mind is not asking for happiness. Neither it asks for happiness, being an instrument, nor it is going to give you happiness because it is changing all the time, depending on what input you give. And where is happiness lying? Then again it will come back to the same thing. The awareful being you are, basically you are a happy person. Since you have discerned, surrendered yourself to your body, mind and senses, you feel fidgety. Because body, mind, senses are fidgety. They are going to keep fidgeting. They are all the mind is going to be reverberating all the time. Then only you can do the activities. Because that is its nature. So you can't pin it down and say you be stiram and you be happy. Once a happy moment can hold on to it. Means what? That is not going to happen. That is all. So that we have to discern. You have to discern those things. The happiness does not lie there. Longevity does not lie there in body, mind and senses. And even the knowingness which you are seeking is ultimate knowingness. Anything and everything you want to know. Whereas mind is capable of only, it is even memory is limited. What you learned 30, 40 years back, you may not remember now. However well you remembered earlier. So nothing is going to, even in the mind, knowledge, whatever you gather and accumulated knowledge and information is going to last for some time, that's all. Even if you don't do Vishnu Sahasranam Parayanam for 2 years, third year when you start, I used to, 15 years I used to do Parayanam regularly, but now 2 years I have not done, now I have forgotten. You feel guilty about it. Because it is, after all, it's part of the mind. It is just an instrument. So you don't associate yourself saying that I have forgotten. My mind has forgotten, I will have to do something about it, maybe chant again and to get it back, that's all. So, looking at the body, mind, senses as an instrument will ensure that neither longevity, nor happiness, nor knowingness is craven. The mind, body, senses are not asking for that. But you, in your life, your happiness lies in all these three sort of freedom. Freedom of being there all the time, freedom for being happy all the time, and the freedom from not knowingness all the time. So that freedom lies where? In you. And what are you? The awareful being. That is what Bhagavan says. So how to be happy then? That muktum michu, I have to know what I am. Even though Bhagavan says, I have to claim that reality of my being as the awareful being, in spite of whatever is happening around me. A is B, but B is A, but A is not B. So all the things, my body, mind, senses are only roles. And I am the being. And that I am, once I enter that, this discernment is complete, automatically you become because it is not, which I have always been telling, it is not a thing, it is not bound by time or space or vastu, name, fame, everything does not belong to this. I only is a being, desa kala vastu aparichinnam, atma. And then automatically it's given that you are always a happy being because there is nothing unhappy in a being which is not a thing.
Okay, sir.
So that is where that mumukshutvam comes in owning up that understanding. That is what the whole thing is all about. And it will come further again, it keeps happening. But he is now ruling out all other possibilities, like your karta, bhokta, your abhilasha, your desires, all those things. How a jnani has got over it, the same way you have to get over it. That's what he is now explaining.
Swamiji, actually, Mukuchu is a person who is seeking moksha.
Yeah. The book is meant for that. All scriptures is meant for moksha.
Is moksha, does it mean freedom?
Yes, moksha means, the semantics itself is, the etymology of the word itself is freedom. Mukta means free from. Jivan mukta they say, no, free from. Mukti means freedom. Moksha is mukti only. We all want mukti. Mukti means, I don't want to be bound. I want to be a happy, free person all the time. But we think that we are limited by body, mind and senses. What happens? If you say that I am body, mind and senses, by being your body, mind and senses, you are automatically limited. Because you are not other. Outside, inside. Automatically, once your identification is your body, mind and senses, you will never be free. So you will make a false start and you ask for that. How it is going to happen? So you have to make the right start. So to make the correction at the source. The source correction is, I am not the body, mind and senses. Body, mind and senses operate in my presence. They are all only instruments. Like this glass is an instrument, my hand also is an instrument. This is also an instrument, this is also an instrument. You are able to accept that this is as an instrument, but this you say is I. That is so obvious it is, but it is, even though it is obvious, it is an error that has been perpetuated for all our lifetime and maybe from the previous lives also. That is why we have got so much identification with that. That identification, knocking off that identification is the first level of freedom. That for that you must have a value for it. Yes, okay, I really see that. I discern it, but I will work on it. The next steps have to happen. It should not be okay. What you say makes very sense. But next day morning I keep going and identifying myself with the same thing. No, you have to move forward in that discernment. That is what we are trying to do. Yeah.
Na praharshes.
How a wise person would respond to situations.
Na praharshes yet priyam prapya. No dvijave.
Prapya chapyam. Yeah.
No dvijay prapya ka priyam. Stira buddhi rasam.
Stira buddhi asammudaha. Stira buddhi asammudo.
Stira buddhi
Asammudo.
Brahmavid Brahmani.
Brahmani stitaha. Brahmavid Brahmani stitaha. Yeah.
Brahmavid, one who knows Brahman. Brahmani, when Brahman. Stitaha, established. Stira buddhi, one whose knowledge is firm. Asammudaha, one who is free from delusion. Priyam, that which is desirable. Prapya, gaining. Na prahrayet, does not rejoice over, would not rejoice over. Apriyam cha, and that which is not likable, prapya, gaining, na udvijet, would not resent. The one who knows Brahman, who is established in Brahman, whose knowledge is firm, who is free from delusion, would not rejoice over gaining that which is desirable, nor would he be resent gaining that which is not likable. In this verse, Krishna continues his discussion of the person who has the vision of the self, Atma, as that which never undergoes any change, that which is always sama, same. Such people were referred to as Samadarshinaha in verse 18 because they see this sameness, this Atma in everyone and everything, in a Brahmana, a cow, an elephant, a dog, and even in a dog eater. It is not that they see everyone and everything as equal, but rather they see Atma, the self in everyone that undergoes no change. It is very important discussion that needs to be clearly understood.
Yeah, that is precisely what I am telling. This distinction has to be very clear at our psychological level. Even in sleep, when you get up, you must be able to get up. I, the Atma, the being, getting up as Kumar, sure, whatever. Like that, you must be able to start the day. That is why I always say you must start 30 seconds, you must give it to yourself. Just be. And then start it. So that is very, very important because that is that needs to be clearly understood. Swamiji has clearly told that, yeah.
Here in this verse, we are told how such a wise person would respond to situations, both priya and apriya, desirable and undesirable. Examples have already been given. A Brahmana, one who has knowledge and humility, Vidya Vinayavan.
Vidya Vinayavan. Person who has knowledge is generally humble, yeah.
And a dog eater, Swapaka.
Swapaka. It's called, Swa means dog, Swapaka means one who cooks the dog and eats. So Swapaka.
Respectively. The wise person is called Sthira Buddhi in this verse, which we shall discuss later. There is no mandate intended here. Gaining something desirable, Priyam Prapya, the Sthira Buddhi does not rejoice, na prakrasyet. The form of the verb used here, prakrasyet, generally implies a mandate. May the wise person not rejoice. May he or she not become elated. But is this really a mandate? Krishna is not cautioning the wise here. He is not saying, be very careful. You are a knower of Brahman, and if you rejoice or get upset, your knowledge may be disturbed. So do not get elated or troubled by anything. Since there is no question of a wise person becoming elated or troubled, Krishna's statement, may one not become elated by the desirable, and troubled by the undesirable is not a mandate. Whenever this kind of statement comes up in the Gita, there is a conversion to be made because it is not Krishna's intention to mandate behavior here or to set down rules. The words as they are, however, accomplish something in that they are quite statements for those who want to become wise, Brahmavits, because they imply that by following Karma Yoga, the mind will become prepared for gaining knowledge. But with reference to the person who already has knowledge, the sentence, na prakrasyet, may he or she not rejoice, should be translated as na prakrasyati, eti, may he or she does not rejoice. Similarly, na udvijet, may he or she not get upset, is to be taken as na udvijete, vijate. He or she does not get upset. This is the intended meaning here.
Basically, this is Sanskrit grammar is telling that the lot and lot means command. So this is not a command; it is a way of saying. Bhagavan says, "Ujjayat" meaning Ujjayati, meaning he is a person of that sort of a composure. He doesn't get elated or depressed by what is happening around. That instead of he is that sort of a person to say, instead of saying that, he says Ujjayati won't. Won't mean you should not like that. It's not a load, it's not a command. That is his nature. This is second nature. That's what he's trying to say. As purely it is, I would say it's a grammatical thing. If you are not totally into grammar, we don't worry about this. Yeah.
What Krishna is saying here is that if a person is wise, he or she does not get elated when confronted by desirable situations, nor does such a person get upset by undesirable situations, apriyam prapyacha. This response to situations is quite unlike how others usually behave. When something desirable comes along, you become so elated, you hit the ceiling, to use the vernacular. And if it is something undesirable, you hit the ground, rolling around, moaning and groaning about your lot. In this way, your responses are like the ups and downs of a yo-yo, because anyone who is subject to elation is also subject to the anticlimaxes that come in its wake. The wise person, on the other hand, is disturbed neither by the desirable nor the undesirable. Na prakrasyet priyam prapya, na udvijet prapya apriyam. The person does not become elated or dejected. One is happy with the desirable and not unhappy with the undesirable, which does not mean that the wise person is happy with the undesirable. What is meant is that one is not unhappy with the undesirable and is not elated by the desirable. For the wise person, there is only fullness, his or her own fullness. Such a person's fullness does not depend upon situations because he or she is sthira buddhi, one whose knowledge of Atma, the self, is firm. The wise person's knowledge is steady. In his commentary on this verse, Sankara defines sthira buddhi as one who knows firmly the one unchanging Atma, free of attributes in all beings. Such a person's Sarvabhuteshu ek samaha nirdoshaha Atma iti sthira
Nirvichikitsa, because without any wavering mind, without doubt. Nirvichikitsa buddhi.
sthira buddhi.
Sthira buddhi. He is explaining him. He is explaining sthira buddhi by saying nirvichikitsa vadi. Without any wavering about any good things or the bad things that are happening around, he will not be wavering. He will not get disturbed. So that is what he has quoted as the Shankara Bhashyam for this particular verse. Yeah.
Swamiji, Vichikitsa means not wavering.
Yeah. Vichikitsa means wavering, doubtful, all those things. Little bit of up and down kind of mentality. That is not there in that sort of a person. There Vichikitsa.
Such a person's knowledge, buddhi, is steady, sthira, meaning that it is firm, clear. Therefore, the person is called sthira buddhi. The word sthira is defined here because you may think that like a steady, well-rooted tree, if you shake the knowledge, it may become uprooted. In fact, steady knowledge cannot be shaken, which is why it is sthira, steady. In his definition of sthira buddhi, Shankara adds a word, nirvikshikta,
Yeah, that's what I have explained now. Nirvichikitsa. Vichikitsa means doubt.
doubt. Nirvikshikta means that which is free from doubt. Steady knowledge is firm knowledge, knowledge that is free from all doubt and vagueness. The one who has this doubt-free knowledge is called sthira buddhi. One whose knowledge is totally firm, free from doubt. When one's knowledge is absolutely doubt-free, the person is free from any moha, delusion. There is no delusion whatsoever about Atma. The person does not take Atma as the karta, doer, or as the bhokta, enjoyer, nor does the person think that Atma is something that is located in some place which is different from everything else. Such a person is called asamudha.
Asammuda.
Muda.
Muda means, full. Sammuda means complete full. Asammuda means not a full. No, that's what it means. Yeah.
Asamudha. There is no Brahman other than Atma. The person is asamudha because he or she is a Brahmavid, one who knows Brahman. The one who knows Atma is an Atmavid, and he is a Brahmavid, the one who knows Brahman. The one who knows Atma is a Brahmavid, and the one who knows Brahman is an Atmavid, because there is no Brahman other than Atma. Atma is Brahman, therefore one who knows Atma is a Brahmavid. And being a Brahmavid, the person is said to be established in Brahman alone. Brahmani eva sthitaha. The knowledge of Brahman is not something one can lose because it is oneself. Thus, the one who knows Brahman abides in Brahman. Knowing Brahman is not a matter for memory. Memory is something that one collects about an object. Here, the person was ignorant about the nature of Atma, and the ignorance is no longer there now. Because the self is there, always there, there is no question of forgetting the self. The person who knows Brahman is Brahman, and he or she remains in Brahman. Even after death, the person is Brahman. The entire meaning then is expressed by this one short sentence. Sthira buddhihi, asamudha,
Asammudaha. Asammudaha, Brahmavid, Brahmanishmitaha. See, because what happens is, Bhagavan is said to introduce Ishvara. Okay, he will do it from the 7th chapter. He will start doing it from 6th chapter itself. And till now we have been talking about Atma. Atma is self. Basically, the English translation is self. He is talking about the Tvam Padartha in the first 6 chapters. First we start with, because who is looking for happiness in life? The self, the I the being. So I the being is Atma, which has been talked about. But now slowly he will be moving into Brahman, Ishvara, because the Swarupa, once it is, I have been telling, the Swarupa, once it is not a thing, it is only the being. Brahman or Ishvara Swarupa, Brahma Swarupa, Atma Swarupa cannot be different. Because we are talking about a being which is not a thing. So, the changeless, which is dimensionless, Desha Kala Vastu Aparichinna, has to be Atma, Atma equal to Brahman, Brahman equal to Ishvara, Swarupam, in terms of Swarupa. So everything else other than that is a thing, and it is changing all the time. That is what the world is talking about. We are dealing with the world because transaction is possible only with the thing. No, it is not a thing. A being is not going to transact. It is there. Only we have to understand that. But a thing will transact. That is what we are doing all along. So transaction is inevitable, but we should not identify ourselves with that transacting thing. We have to say that I am the being. Because of my being, not a thing, I am able to see all the things, everything that is happening in the prapancha. I am able to see, transact, plus, minus, everything I am able to see because I am not a thing. So that is a reality which we have to understand, not only because it helps you to be free. Freedom, muktuhu, ichcha is a purushartha. That is why we said dharma, artha, kama, moksha, purushartha. Purushartha means what I want in life is freedom. But the reality is, fortunately, is the same freedom. The reality of your life is being, is Atma equal to Brahman, equal to Ishvara Swarupa, is that once that understanding is there, automatically the mumukshutvam gets, that is where the mumukshutvam changes into discernment. How you become free? By discerning. Discerning means what? By understanding. Understanding what? That you are the being. Once that understanding is there, automatically you are mukta. You are not a bound person. Because what is bound? What is transitory? What keeps changing is bound. What is changing in you? Only body, mind, senses, emotions, everything. Relationship, everything keeps changing. So if you are, once you are understood, you don't identify your with the changing thing, you are the changeless, that understanding itself gives you the freedom. So that is where the freedom being a Purushartha is converted into Jignasa. Jignasa meaning Jnana Icha. Muktum Icha is the first step, Jnana Icha is the second step. Automatic, because you understand, Muktum Icha is going to be possible only by understanding that I am the awareness being. So that is where the sense you don't have to do anything. That is why even Arjuna to some extent understands that. That is why just by knowing I can be mukta, then why should I do? That is asking. He is asking. But the thing is that for you to have an infrastructure where you understand that that I am the awareful being, irrespective of whatever is happening around, you need an infrastructure inside. That comes from Karma Yoga. It does not, for all these years, you have been a karmi all the time, fighting, warrior, I want to win over, etc. And suddenly, because you find that the doing work, doing this yuddha is inconvenient, you say that, no, I will become a jnani. You don't become a jnani, it's like that. You have to understand. And it takes a lot of discernment. So, but for that you have to study, you have to be calm, you have to be dhyanam and all that. For that you don't have the infrastructure right now. So, create that infrastructure by doing your karma as yoga. Even if you are eating and sleeping and going here and there, still that will be karma. There again you have to have yoga buddhi. So, you can't avoid karma. Karma is, because the changing things, the transacting world is what we are already is given. It is all there with us. The non-transacting being is only you can discern. You can't do anything with it. So doing involves, living involves all actions and all that. That is all with the changing things. So in the changing things, that's what he is trying to say. In Jnani, in the changing situations also, desirable or undesirable situations also, he will remain the being. So whether we have to look at ourselves, whether we are able to get to that situation, in spite of activities around, whether I am able to be the being. That is why dhyanam and everything will come. We have to. That is why I am keeping, in the sense, instead of postponing to another day, even as we go into this teaching, further you have to develop that dhyanam and all that. With the 6th chapter, he will explain dhyanam, how to do and all that. You have to do that meditation. Meditation has to follow meditative life. And even while acting, you must be able to be the being and do whatever is. Thereafter, what happens? Once you are like that, you will not have any agenda. In the sense, whatever is required to be done, you will do, plus minus whatever it is. So you will like what you need to do, and you will avoid what you are not supposed to do. Because you don't have an agenda. Because you are fairly clear, discerning that I am the aware being. That is what is my freedom I am seeking. That is what the happiness I am seeking, which I am already. Which the Shastra says, which I am able to own it up. So I don't have an agenda with all the transactions. So what I will do with my transactions? I will do what is to be done. That automatically becomes Karma Yoga. So Karma Yoga leads to Jnanam. Jnanam will help you to be more of a Karma Yogi. Both have to work together. We cannot say that I will first become a Karma Yogi, then come to Jnani. Because you won't have a value for Karma Yoga unless you have a value for Jnanam. So they both have to go together hand in hand. Yeah.
The happiness of such person does not make Bahyasparseshvasaktatma Vindatyatmani Yatsukham Sabrahma Yoga Yuktatma Sukham Makshayam Asnute Bahyasparseshu. with reference to external sense objects that contact the sense organs. Asakta Atma, one whose mind is not attached. Atmani, in oneself. Sukham, limited happiness. Vindati, gains. Saha, he or she. Brahma Yoga Yukta Atma. Chet, if his mind is endowed with the knowledge of Brahman. Tat Sukham Yat Akshayam, happiness that does not wane. Ashnute, gains. The one whose mind is not attached to the external sense objects gains limited happiness in oneself, whereas if his mind is endowed with the knowledge of Brahman, he gains that happiness that does not wane. This verse can be interpreted in two ways. First, we will see how Shankara explains it. Then we will see the other interpretation. Bahya Sparsha refers to external objects that come into contact with the sense organs. This compound is resolved by Shankara as Bahyascha Te Spashascha, meaning they are external, Bahyas, and they come into contact with the sense organs, Spashas. Generally, Spasha is used only in the sense of touch. That which is experienced by the sense of touch is called Spasha. Extending this meaning, any object that a person comes in contact with is Spasha. The sense objects such as sound, etc. are Spashas and they are external. Therefore, they are Bahya Spashas. Sabdadayaha, sound, etc. include all sounds, forms, touch, taste and smell. And with reference to these external objects, Bahya Spasheshu, the person is Asakta Atma. That is, his or her mind, Atma, is uninvolved, Ashakta with any of them, meaning that the person's mind is not hooked by them. In other words, the fancies of the mind do not bother the person. The one whose mind is not carried away by such fancies with reference to external sense objects is therefore described in this verse in two words, Bahya Spasheshu, Ashakta Atma. Freedom from longing. Shankara expresses this Bahya Spasheshu Asakta Atma as one who is free from longing with reference to the sense objects as Vishayeshu Priti Vajjita, a person who does not miss the external objects. This being so, the person gains the happiness that is in the Atma, Atmani Yat Sukham Tat Vindate. Atma here means Sat Chitananda Atma. Happiness, Sukha, it has to be mentioned in this way because people generally think that the objects themselves give them Sukha. But the wise person is also happy without objects being instrumental in any way. If a wise man is not elated by objects, how does he become happy? He is happy because any happiness is with himself. Sukha is the very Swarupa, nature of Atma. Sukha really means fullness here, fullness being Atma's nature. This Sukha, fullness, is gained by the Jnani who knows that Atma is not affected by the external objects that come into contact with the sense organs. He or she gains Sukha that obtains in the Atma, which is the person's Swarupa. How do we know that the person being discussed here is wise? The next line points this out along with the context provided by the previous verse. The person is referred to as Brahma Yoga Yukta Atma. Brahma Yoga is the recognition of Atma being Brahman. This recognition itself is the yoga. Yukta in this compound means endowed with. Thus, the one endowed with the knowledge of Brahman is Brahma Yoga Yukta, and the one whose mind is endowed with or resolved in the knowledge of Brahman is Brahma Yoga Yukta Atma. Atma meaning the mind, Antakarna here. This is the person who gains the happiness that is oneself, Brahma Yoga Yukta Atma, Atmani, in oneself, Sukham Vindate.
Actually, see, like, as you said, make a beginning for everything. To get into that, what do you say? We have to do our karma. We have to do our karmas properly. We have to do our bhakti properly. We have to not be attached to many things that we have around us. We should be conscious of the fact that, okay, this has to happen this way, okay, we accept this as it is, and we go on. So the thing is, my question here is there, by doing all this, is there like, I'm not asking like a time period or time frame, but in this particular previous verse itself, we are saying that we should not be clinging to anything, right? So how do we be such a way that we do not cling to anything?
Yeah, basically being, but the whole thing is, that is the advantage, Once you are prajna, we all understand the word prajna. In your prajna, this truth has to be ringing all through in all your activities. That is the simplest way to go about. Automatically, once this prajna is there, you will have a value for mukshutvam, you will have a value for this jnana, both. And once you have that, everything else is only what you call to be done. That's all. To be done karma, which I have always been telling, nimitta matram bhava savyasachi, kaya nanakiradha, well, life, morning to evening. Just play our roles. Fully aware of the fact that nothing is, I am not going to do anything, I don't have an agenda other than doing what is to be done. If something has to be avoided, I will avoid. If something has to be done, I will do. Automatically. I have no agenda because I know fully well that I am, by the grace of the Guru, by grace of Bhagavan, by grace of the Gita, I know that this life here and now, the Swarupa is Atma, the awareness being. And what I have to know through my life is to discern this completely and claim it. Avagati, it's called Avagati. That once that stream of understanding, discerning and owning up the freedom, which is our reality, that stream is running in the background of the mind all the time, then you get yourself totally involved what you need to do with all your faculties. Just to be done, automatically will present to you before as samskara or prarabdha, whatever you call it. It will keep, you don't have to ask for it. Every day morning you know what sort of activities you have to do. You will plan it, you will back calculate. If I have to do this, I have to reach there by 12 o'clock, I have to do this before. And keep doing it, that's all. And if at all any obstruction comes, anything, just work on it and to get over it. Rather than lament. Because you don't have anything to lament in life. Or you don't have to feel ecstatic in life, anything. Both way you will, that is what he says. That should be a sadhana for us. For jnana it is automatic. For him it is spontaneous. He doesn't have to really make a great effort because he has been doing it for so long. A sadhana has become sadhya and it has become his second nature.
Okay.
So that he is describing. But for us, as you are asking, I am telling that that's the way to go about.
Because why I am saying this, Swamiji, is because all these days, especially this week, I will tell you, normally in the very beginning when we started, there were say 12 things that I used to be so sensitive and bothered about of what other people are telling me. I used to do, so I used to be worried, I used to get tensed, I used to get angry. Now that has reduced to say around 3 or 4 today, Swamiji, like 3 things or 24 things that I'm really bothered.
That is how you have to really work it out.
Yeah, but in this case of example, like for example, I tell you, Swamiji, yesterday there was a Pongal celebration at office between 10:30 to 12 at T Nagar. Now I was having call until 10:30 in the morning with office people, abroad people, so I couldn't attend that particular function. Now I have not faced this right now. I faced this like this even in the past in office situations. The bosses create the appraisal for you in the month of December, January with the impression that, okay, this person has this qualities based on which the person is appraised and is provided some kind of promotion or whatever being done. Now, the reason for doing certain things is not something that I'm doing, it's because client requirement that we are doing. Many of the times, our managers come into a situation where they judge us a different way and say, okay, you are not up to the mark in this, you are not up to the mark in that, like that. So, but reading from all this, my understanding, I just want to correct my understanding. If I feel that I have been truthful enough and conscious to the fact that I've been doing things right, I need not have too much bother about those things and think that, okay, I have to work on it, and be tensed about it, right, Swamiji?
Not at all, not at all. It is correct. What you say is right, very true. Means what do you call, what is truthful to your assignment and all that. And even if you have to please somebody, okay, by being present in a certain function and all that, if you don't have to compromise with your work only, you should do that. Definitely, if you can finish your work and then go attend the function, that is good. But if you cannot do it, you may perhaps, if that is the expectation of your bosses or something like that, you have to make it clear to them. In the sense, when an appropriate forum, even on occasion, next day morning when you go, I couldn't attend because I had such and such assignment that the client is important, so I couldn't attend. Like that, you can mention that. You don't have to hold it back. You must go and mention it clearly that why you couldn't attend all that. Even they were not even asked, but if you are very sure that they may feel that way, you should make it clear. So those things have to be. It's all part of the game. You have to keep doing that. It's all to be done. What you have to communicate also is to be done. What you are doing for your client also is to be done. And if you can be present in the function, if possible, you can finish your work and go on, that is also to be done. But you have to balance it out. In the sense, you've got only so many hours and you've got so many capabilities that depending on the client interaction and all that, these things will change, definitely.
Swamiji, by being tolerant completely, to tell you the truth, I've been keeping quiet a lot. I've not been really telling. And whenever the forum comes where I need to explain, Swamiji, sometimes after we explain also, they are coming back and saying, no, I don't accept.
That they will say, they may have to that, but you have to say what you have got to say and stick to it, period. You don't have, they have got to say and they have to feel that they express, you have to listen to it. Listening also is part of your to be done, Karya. That time you don't have to react. You just say what you have got to say and keep going. That is how it is. No, these are all so much things, no? Everything is changing. Nowadays, there is no, not even in the office, everywhere also, tell the man, tell the rule. There are some companies operate like that. It is not one rule for everyone. Tell the man, tell the rule. That is also there. Those things will always be there. You don't have to worry about all that. As long as you are fair and you are doing your job well, keep going.
But this paragraph was a very good breather for me to understand.
That is how, in the sense, that is how it is. What is sadhana for all of us is sadhya and siddha for a jnani. That's all. The difference is only, for us it's a conscious effort. For them it is spontaneous. That's all the difference. But the way in which jnani or ajnani function is one and the same. But if you have to be alert, because the situations are the same, it's not going to be very different. But you have to be alert to the truth of life and act accordingly. And if it needs an effort, you are previously operating differently, now you are operating differently, you are making that extra effort to deliberately making it as a sadhana. Whereas for a person who knows, who has lived through his life like that for a long time, for him it becomes a very automatic, spontaneous thing. That's all the difference. Yeah.
Swamiji, this he says, the fancies of the mind do not bother the person. That means the mind thoughts will be like we have, but he will not be bothered about it.
Yeah, definitely. Fancies means he knows. He also looks at it as a fancy. It is not that fancy thoughts do not come to a jnani. He also gets fancy thoughts. But he neglects them. He doesn't act on them. Just allow it to go. And whereas a person who is, does not have the value for this Purnatvam or Atma, being, calm, quiet attitude, Karma Yoga Buddhi, he will look for a fancy, he may feel that by fulfilling that fancy, I may be happy. So he will go after it. That's all. You know very well that fulfilling fancies are not going to make me, even though it may be happy, make me happy at the cost of few dollars today. Now I will lose the dollars also, I will lose the happiness also next day, because that happiness is not going to last for only 5 minutes. So you will be prudent enough not to waste the dollars on those fancies. That is all. The prudent, you will become more prudent also. Because you are alert. You are alert living will help you to live a prudent life. That is a corollary, I would say. That's a corollary, side benefit. The fact is, your being, your happy is not affected by fancies. I don't have to follow fancies to be happy. Because I am a happy person. Fancies I will avoid. To be done, I will do. Period.
And this barhya sparsheshu asakta atma, we are telling barhya starsha.
Yeah.
I have heard this word in Surya Namaskar. Surya
It will
Namaskar
come
mantra.
again. It will come in the 6th chapter.
Barhya sparsheshu.
As part of Dhyanam, it will come. That is, I tell you, at some point in time later, I think once or twice I have shared it with you also. The Bhagya Sparsheshu, no, the whole thing, there is nothing Bhagya, as I was telling, if you are, now you are holding this, okay, we think that there is an object there and I am holding. Whereas, ultimately the Shastra says, even this is only a vritti. You think there is an object in your retina and you think that your hand is holding. That hand holding the glasses is only a vritti. And in your mind, you are seeing that in your mind. That's all. You are neither holding, there is no object outside. It is only a thought, like even in a dream. So your waking life is nothing but a dream, an extended dream. Whereas all these are transitory. Like even the dream you wake up, this also you will wake up. Like once you wake up to the reality of Atma, the being, all these are only transitory. The Bhakya object is all in the mind. It's all in the mind only. There is no outside object. There is no outside sound. There is no outside color. There is nothing like that. Everything is happening in the mind finally. That it is a color, that you give a name to it, you call it glasses, somebody will call it spectacles, and goes it resistors in the mind. Everything is in the mind only. The whole thing is only a vritti. So you are basically a mind person. And in dream, you wake up, so you think, oh, it all happened in the mind, forget it. But in the waking life, this is a long dream. For you to wake it up, it takes a longer time, that's all. When you wake up to the reality of Atma, Prabodha Samaye, Dakshinamurti Stotram, once you wake up to the reality of Atma, the being, Punaravriti, in the sense, thereafter, every moment of life, you will not be cheated by this wavering mind or looking at all as objects and all that. Na Punaravriti Bhavam Bonidao. Tasmai Sri Gurumurte Namaidam Dakshinamurti. Third sloka. Na Punaravriti means what? From now, this moment onwards, I will never get fooled by what is happening in my life outside. Because everything is anyway vritti matram. It's all like a long dream. I will live it. What is to be done? Just ensure that I don't disturb others. Because they don't understand, but I understand. So to that extent possible, I will be helpful, contributory. I will not get upset with them. And I will, even if whatever I need to do for them, I will do with love. No agenda, no attachment. So that way, that is called Prabodha Samaya. That is called Prabodhanam. Bhagavan Vivekananda also told, no, arise, awake. And all. This is awakening. We all have to have. Once we awake to the reality of the being, the waking life as well as the dream life are both like a long dream. So that gives the freedom. That is the freedom. Once you understand that, then what is left is only you, the being. And that is freedom. And so you are ever free. Thereafter, whatever happens like in a movie. Just keep doing. Whatever is to be done, keep doing. Plus minus will always be there. That is the sthira buddhi which he is talking about here. That is the sthira buddhi. We should not waver there. One day everything goes well, you are okay, sthira buddhi. Next day something goes wrong, then you start flaring. That should not happen. Whether it is good or bad or ugly, take them as good. That I have said in one of the articles. It all comes back to you as good. Because in being, there is no good or bad. Being is always good. Being Atma, the being, is always Purnam. Because there is not a thing, it doesn't have a dimension. So it is always Purnam. It's Pujya. That is why it's called Pujya. Yeah,
actually, there is this sloka in Surya Namaskar mantra. आतनुष्व प्रतनुष्व बुद्ध्वमादम असंदम आदित्य चंद्रवर्णानाम आपनोति अतदा और बार्हस्पत्यस्य स आत्मा, like that it will come fully. This verse we read, exactly those exact words are coming, but at the end we will say Chaya Surchalamba Samete Sri Surya Narayana Swamine Namaha, and we do
prayer. That's a prayer. Yeah, that's
so
a prayer.
that is also basically Vedanta, we can say, right?
Yeah, in the sense, that's why, once a person who knows Vedanta and this understanding is there, he goes back and looks at all these stotras and all the, even the Purva Kanda of Veda, where it talks about the Homa and all that, every Homa starts with Om. Om means what? The being. Brahma, Atma. In it only everything is happening. So where is karma? There is no karma. It's only, since work is happening, but I am not the actor. When you do the sankalpa also, work is happening. Okay, like even like our life cycle, you do karma, homa, the vapors, the habya vahanam, Agni takes the things to the this thing, what do you call the mega gives us Parjanya. From Parjanya we get some food, and food becomes Purusha. The cycle goes on. It's all going on. It's a cycle. You are only doing your bit. That's all. Whereas the reality of the whole thing, the whole cycle, including Devas and everything, Parjanya, whatever you call it, everything is only the being. Then the being in its glory appears as various Panchabhuta outside, Panchabhuta inside, and continuously happening. And it is no sense, since the being is, what do you call it, is not a thing. Even though we call it Pralayam and all that, Nali Yuga, or Pralayam, and again it comes back. But again it comes back. They say that Kali Yuga, Tretayo, Dwapara, again the cycle starts. That means what? It is always Pravaga Nityatvam. Since nothing is lost, neither matter nor energy is lost. Matter gets converted into energy, energy gets converted into matter, it goes on. So because, why it is nothing is lost, everything is Nityam? Because the being is no thing.
Okay,
How
okay.
no thing can get destroyed? Tell me. Not possible. No thing is just the being. That is what your reality and my reality and the world's reality is. But only that it appears different because of its glory. Why should the glory be like that? That is how it is. Sadeva Saumya. This is how Satyam is. Sadeva Satyam. This is how Satya is. You can't ask why. Why not? Then the question will be, why not? For you and me to talk and enjoy, we need to be different, no? If both are one and the same, I will talk to whom? There is nothing to talk really. You can't even talk the glory of the being. The four people are required, no? To talk about the glory of the being. That is why it is like this. Why gets answered that way.
Actually, one friend of mine, Swamiji, his name is Sendil. He's currently doing construction projects in POK, in the Sharadambal temple in POK. He is there. So he was telling me one of his experience about this shloka, Atanushva Pratanushva. Actually, we have a call every Sunday. We all meet as friends for 15 minutes. So today he was telling, it seems in that Sharadambal temple, that completely temple is dilapidated condition. So they have to climb a hill and then they have to do. So there, it seems under that minus 2 or 3 degrees or whatever in that cold, they take a visa to go from to that place to POK, that Sharadamba temple. So recently Shingari Periva had given the shrine and everything was done. So while doing the construction projects, all the people who do the work are all Brahmins. So he was telling, early morning, sun's rise will be at 6:30. They will do the Surya Namaskara mantra in the morning at 6:30. It seems getting up in the morning and doing the mantra. And while they say this mantra and Surya Namaskara, they do, it seems sun will open up and they will feel the sun's rays in the morning. Similarly, evening they have some slokas which they say and they do it for sunset. So he was telling actually our scriptures, everything is very precise about what we need to do and what we don't need to do. We are only not exploring them and we are only reading them like slokas and going. For example, like if I had to know, Pongal, we just read Surya Namaskaram. I just read Surya Namaskaram. But only one doubt I had, Swamiji. This Aditya Hridayam that we talk about and the Surya Namaskara mantra that we do, are they both completely different or it's only to Surya Narayana gods?
The entire Aditya Hridayam is nothing but Aditya being talked in different names. That's all. If you really look at the etymology and explanation, everything it tells the glory of Aditya to Rama, saying that you pray, Aditya takes care of it. It's very obvious. The rays and the rays, without Surya, we will not be, photosynthesis will not be possible, oxygen will not be possible, life will not be possible, water can become ice, 2 degrees plus, 2 degrees minus. If you look at all those things, no, our life in this earth is purely Adityas. And that is and for because our life is purely Adityas, all the facets of our life are being explored and given different names for Aditya. That's all. In this facet, Aditya is called like this. In this facet, Aditya is called like this. That is how different names. That's all. Like even any Sahasranama for that matter. Everything is in the being. The being by appearing through different windows. Like we are telling, no, in the Jyoti, in the pot, when it appears through 5 different holes, appears as 5 rays. Okay, but there is only one Jyoti inside. Jyoti, Bahir Jyoti, Sarvam Narayana Stitaha. So, even our own faculties of eyes, ears, and all that, it's all only Jyoti through different holes. That's all. To different Golakas, eyes comes lights up form and color, so sound lights up, ears light up sound, like that. It's all only Vidam is just a glory of the being. Like even sun's glory is all the living beings, and no life is possible without sun's glory. The Aditya Hridayam talks about sun in the terms of its glories. So, life to be sustained in this earth. That's all. And Surya Namaskara only also propitiates the same thing. That's all.
Got it. So he was telling basically that this is the way it's going well, but just that we should understand these things and implement it better way. And someone spoke about we are not claiming that land and POK, that's India's land. He said it does not require for you to claim that land or do that, because if we had claimed, because many things happened in many countries, all the different stories. He said it is all about us. It's all about us and understanding ourselves. If we ourselves have those things in us, if you understand that, that is enough. Like he was telling us,
that's true.
I connected that to this, what you said previously to me that day.
That's why Indians have never invaded and all that. Never, even if they have acquired land like Sri Lanka was conquered, but it was given to Vibhushana because ultimately Vasudeva Kudumbakam, all those things are there, part of the culture. It's all there. There's no second person. When we are saying there is no thing, there is only being. That is the question of taking a land and keeping and all that. All not necessary at all. It's a question of understanding life. Our whole culture is moksha based culture. Sanatanam is nothing but moksha based culture. And that is where equity is possible. Equity is not going to be possible by making the rich poor and poor rich. It is never going to happen. As Koranga Apandana, it keeps happening. So it's not going to happen. It's only by discerning the reality of life, reality understanding alone can make us, give us mukti here and now and help us be a contributor to the society without getting into conflicts. Yeah.
Purnameva vasishyate. Om Shanti.